Bishop Stan, is there anything that you wanted to highlight during this time that you heard, or something that you wanted to add concerning the topics that we're touching so far?
Oh man, it's nothing to add, man. It's so true. The thing that stood out to me was that the conscious of faith. And so, while we can't walk in the measure of faith that God has given us, because the damage has been done to our conscience.
Yes, sir.
And so we have so much, but we do so little,
Yes.
because the perversion that I alluded to, that you elaborated on, how it's infiltrated our consciousness, that
Yes.
we believe in things about ourselves that we don't like about ourselves, but we can't get
Yes.
past them because they deep rooted in our consciousness. And then we get an environment that perpetuate these superstitions, these lies in the form
Yes.
of misinterpreted scriptures. And for example, one of my pet peeves, one is this. Uh, this is very controversial, but I'm a servant of God. Not so.
Right.
Jesus said, He died that we may be sons.
Yes.
And He progressed us, but we're afraid to be progressive in our thinking. We're afraid to accept what He's done for us.
Yes.
We've accepted certain parts of it, such as I'm going to heaven.
Right.
And but we have a hard time accepting the fact that He says, you know what? Not only are you off the plantation, but I purged you of it. I completely redeemed you of it. You no longer a servant, but you are a son.
Yes.
But our consciousness is still contaminated with this servant slave stuff.
Yes.
And we're trying to figure out how to live the life of a son while thinking like a slave.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. And I don't see any questions. And you're absolutely right. Bishop Stan, the problem that we are having, and I'm going to actually stop you really quick. The problem that we're having is that we still believe that we're sinners.
Yeah. Yeah.
We believe that we are sinners saved by grace.
Yeah.
But if I'm saved by grace, how am I staying a sinner?
Yeah.
You understand? And so we don't realize that our mess ups, our slip ups, and see, the problem is we think we have to perfect ourselves before we can operate in purpose.
Yeah.
Not realizing it's the purpose that perfects you by staying and keeping your eyes on Him, because I'm perfected by keeping my eyes on purpose.
And it's hard for that conscience to accept that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got generation of the opposite, and it's like, is this too good to be true?
Yes.
Is that mentality, and so we just stay in that safe zone, and but you know what? I'm saying, I'm not playing safe.
Amen. Amen.
Because let me put it to you like this. It's one thing to deliver a person, but it's another thing.
Yes, sir.
We are delivered, but we're not.
Yeah.
And their life struggles that you got us out of Egypt. Now God is saying, let me get Egypt out of you.
Come on, sir.
And that's what we are. And that's why Israel kept cycling.
Right.
Because, she wouldn't allow the process of freedom that God put in place to take its place. And so she preferred where she don't want to be.
Wow.
And that's a terrible place to be, that you prefer somewhere you don't want to be because your consciousness won't allow you to go where you want to be.
Wow.
And where God is trying to take you. And so He has to wait for another generation who can get the thought process right.
Yes, sir.
Who hadn't been contaminated.
Yeah.
In that conscience. That was a very powerful point, man. And so,
Amen. Amen. Don't allow your conscience to violate the faith that you're praying in.
Yeah.
Don't allow your conscience. Don't put your trust in God. Many people, and I see one question in the Q&A. Pastor Stanley, can you talk a little bit more about the purpose centralizing of my life, of our life,
Yeah.
centralizing the purpose, centralizing. So I'm thinking centered, being centered in your life.
Yeah.
And I'll make this the last question, and we're going to move to the next segment. Yes, sir.
That's the nature of purpose. Jesus, our example, that that his the center of his life was to please his Father, to fulfill the Father's purposes. So it allowed him to deal with everything that he had to deal with, because purpose brings your life into center. And then watch this. You know how they talk about, align yourself with the universe and all that kind of stuff. No, see, purpose is what created the universe. So when you get in purpose, purpose affects the universe, your personal universe, and it causes an alignment, and
Amen.
it centralizes your life. That's what Matthew 6 was referring to. That he was saying, make the kingdom and its advancement, which is your purpose, the center of your life, and then all the other things will be added to you besides, because that's the way it's designed. And so when purpose, which is pleasing the Father, fulfilling his will for your life personally, it will bring everything into clarity and centralize. And then so you'll work everything from purpose instead of trying to work purpose into everything.
So good.
And so when you do that, that's the most that's where your power lies, and that's when you become a powerful person, because you're driven by purpose, and now you got a center, and then you are centered mentally, spiritually, and physically, and then you know how to center everybody else and everything else in your life. And so that's what it does. It has that. It's the compass. It's the compass of our lives, and we, life like a ship, and everything else needs a compass, and that's it. Because without that center, you don't know where north and south and west and east are.
Amen.
Purpose is what brings that into focus. So you know which way is north, and north will never change, south will never change, east will never change. But without purpose, the directions change. And that's what the Bible said the enemy seeks to do. He seeks to change times and seasons, because he wants south to become north, and
Yeah.
north to be south, and vice versa. The purpose solves that on a personal level.
Mm.
So I hope that answers
Mm.
the question.
So good.